Beats Planet.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Doski Woski, Peasky Whiskies implied, trying to drop these bows like Dusty Rhodes, you know. Watched a little bit of film over the past week, and how we typically do in draft season is I'll do that. So y'all get to follow me from step one all the way to the end of April, whenever the hell the draft is, the 25th or whatever. So I typically do this by position. We started with defensive tackles. I normally always start with defensive tackles because I really remember that Solomon Thomas fussing that I was doing, or D lineman, because then I got into that Myles Garrett, Derrick Barnett fussing that I was doing, you know. So draft season normally starts with a fight and a debate, you know, and it's always, D line related. Chase Young ain't really got nobody to fight and argue with in terms of a peer, so to speak. I think he's pretty peerless in terms of edge rushers in this draft. I mean, it's a lot of edge rushers, but I don't think they coming close to Chase Young. But I think there's going to be a lot of discussion on the defensive tackle front of the D-line talk. We're going to be talking about 8 or so guys. I've been taking notes. Give me a second. I think I watched more than 8 or so guys. I probably watched like 12. But, some guys were kind of boring, and I just look. Hey, man, some of them cats was kind of boring, man, and I'm going to go back and watch them refreshed, okay? We got Derrick Brown from Auburn, Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. Watched him, and I'm going to talk about these guys in some detail or whatnot. Raekwon Davis, feel like I've been watching film on him for years, but he's finally coming out now. Raekwon Davis of Alabama. I got some work on him. Rashard Lawrence from LSU. Leku Fotu from Utah, the big old boy. And he was in this conversation because a lot of people recommended me to listen to him. So we'll talk about him. Jordan Elliott, who was interesting. And, man, look, that's why I don't like to talk about draft so early, man. Some people want to be talking about draft in October and shit, man. Like, I like to wait as late as possible to talk about draft, because I watched film on, Levi Onwuzurike. The tackle from Washington, and boy, let me drop my phone. Boy, was I a fan of him. But he going back to school to get an education for whatever reason. Go get your money, son. But I enjoy watching him. But he coming out next year, so that's the thing. I took a look at Neville Gallimore as well. Some of the guys that I looked at that that just kind of bored me a little bit. What's my man name? Benito Jones from Ole Miss. From Ole Miss. Then there's another tackle from Alabama that I watched, and a couple other kids. And I was just bored while I was watching them. And when I get to that point, I stop and I come back, and I just be like, okay, cool. I'll just regather my energy, drink some water, and I'll just come back and watch them another day after, grinding all of these other profiles and thoughts and things like that. So those are the tackles I'm going to be talking about today. I will be talking about some of them in more depth than others. Some I'll just kind of brush past a little bit. Other we're going to have some creative discussion about. But I said the other day, man, look, if you want to get a defensive tackle, get them early. This ain't last year where there were tackles that I felt really good about, like way down in the 5th and 6th rounds or whatever. And what's early to me? I think 1st and 2nd round is pretty early. I think round 3 is pushing early. But once you get into day 3, you're gonna be looking at some other positions. All right. So that's my thoughts there. We're going to get into our D-tackle breakdown after we do some housekeeping and, break out a little bit of news. Then after that, we're going to open up the phones and let y'all get y'all's opinions out. 515-606-5187, access code 309-104 if you want to call into the show. And then I'm going to go to the chat box for like 25 minutes. And then we're going to get up out of here, all right? Jeopardy was dope. Man. I ain't going to lie to you. Anyway, housekeeping real quick. Shouts out to my patrons, man. I said I was gonna do this in a separate video, but I'm gonna do it live, and then I'm going to like crop it out or whatever, and then put it out or whatever, because I'm doing these Patreon free merch giveaways or whatever, and every time I get ready to do a video to announce it, I always end up doing something else. You know what I mean? So let me pull up my patron stuff. I got my Patreon pulled up and all that good stuff. And I'm going to find a lucky randomized Patreon member, somebody that has subscribed to my Patreon. We're going to send them some merch. I'm going to contact them via Patreon, and they're going to get some merch, man, because we're going to be in a very, very giving type mood this draft season, off season, this whole year, man. I anticipate 2020 being fantastic in terms of how much this channel has grown. So I'm just gonna get back to some of y'all. Let's look around. Let's see. David Loeb, Loebe. Hit me up, fam. I got some merch for you, and I'm going to hit him up on Patreon as well. And if he don't respond, because your boy Dylon from last month didn't respond. If they don't respond, then we just gonna get some brand new winners and send y'all their merch. All right. In terms of news, your boy Tua Tagovailoa say this hip gonna be all right. Let's go make this bread. You know what I mean? And I felt like that was gonna be a thing. I know the 4-letter networks, they like to make it. They like to make it a thing where, oh, well, he's got some unfinished business. He really wants to go out. He didn't want to go out like that. He wants to go back to Alabama and finish what he started. How about he get this bread and take care of his family and buy his mom's a house? And you know what I mean? He can get it. He can get his degree whenever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, just the. Even when the whole Chase Young thing, right? They were like, oh, Chase Young is debating going back to school or making millions of dollars being the second overall pick. I didn't think it was really a conversation to be had. And, honestly, Tua would rather come out this year than to wait for the sunshine year. You know what I mean? Because Sunshine looking like he going first overall there. So, and look, to be fair, I think now that Tua is going to the draft, that he's going to be drafted, I think now number one overall is actually a conversation. I don't think it's a great conversation to be had, because I think Joe Burrow's clear cut number one, but I know there's going to be some people that'll still vote Tua number one. Tua, in my opinion, is the better passer of the football than Joe Burrow, but I like Joe's size. I like Joe, how much he's grown. I like that senior side of him. These senior football players, they just know things. They just know things that a lot of these younger players don't. The experience thing kind of matters to me. Now that may not matter when we talk about Tua, because Tua been doing this thing since freshman year. You know what I mean? He's been whooping ass since freshman year. So that may not count in terms of the conversation with him. But, some people may look at Tua's injury history and say, hey, man, we ain't worried about that. Tua's not really a big dude. He's a couple inches taller than Kyler Murray, but they may weigh roughly similar the same. You know what I mean? Tua trips over grass. Tua gets hit by wind. Sometimes Tua gets hurt. You know what I mean? But if you overlook those kind of things, if you believe in throw of the football, if you believe in your offensive line and say, hey, we're going to keep Tua clean, we're going to get rid of the ball quick in our offense, we ain't got to worry about Tua taking hits all like that, and you want to draft Tua first, I ain't mad at you if you're going just strictly on throwing the football. I can't be mad at you. There are some people that don't believe in Joe Burrow. I was amazed looking at my chat box last week when we did, or last Saturday, whenever that was, when we did the draft show a couple days ago. It was some people in my chat box that wasn't fooling with Joe Burrow. I thought that was interesting. So it will be a conversation. Let me pop my chat out right there. It will be a conversation moving forward. I don't think it should be a conversation. I just think Joe's so good, man. I just think Joe's so damn good. And Tua's fantastic as well, but those things are those things. Now, when we have quarterback conversation, we can get real deep into that if y'all want to. But that's news. Tua's gonna be coming out. And if you're we were talking to G from Miami a couple days ago on the last show. You know, he was a Dolphins fan and he was mad. Well, he wasn't mad, but he was, you know, thinking about the notion that the Dolphins didn't tank in order to get that first overall pick. But if we gonna win, they gonna win. The Dolphins are like what, 4th overall right now, 5th, I say. That may be a good spot to go get to it anyway. So hey man, you get your W's and you still might get your quarterback anyway, Dolphins fans. We don't really have a good idea about where Tua may go. But the doctors say he's going to be back to good health. I think they sent some team doctors over there, and those are the best doctors in the world. They built Iron Man suit, and they said that Tua hip going to be all right. Then then you got to put Tua in that same esteem that you put him last year or that you put him a few months ago. So, and I think Tua's that guy. I really like Tua, man, but boy, it's a lot of grass in the league, and every time I see Tua trip over grass, boy, he just stays down. Let me look at the chat box for like 20 seconds before I move on to this D tackle talk. Is there any way he falls to 9? I don't know. Would you take Joe over Dak? No. I don't think it's a good idea to take proven quarterbacks over quarterbacks that haven't played in the league yet. I just don't think that's the thing. Especially when that quarterback was like number 1 to number 2 in the league in all the categories last year. Come on, son. Let's not do that. Who else in the chat box? What else y'all talking about? When am I gonna start doing film breakdowns? We waiting on the plug, man. I would love to do the broadcast film, but you know I get hit when I do the broadcast film, so we're waiting on the plug to hit me with the coaches film with the 22 joint. You know what I mean? I have some 22 film. I may drop a Grant Delpit film session. I may drop a AJ Espinosa film session. I may do an Andrew Thomas, you know, from here to there. I don't know. We may do a Tua Tagovailoa film session, you know, but I'm waiting on the big haul, of coaches film so we can start doing those videos. So hang tight. Have you looked at Ross Blaylock from? Nope. I don't know him. Anyway, let's get into this defensive tackle conversation, right? And just me doing my notes. You know, I like to keep in mind the hype of the player, and then I make a comparison directly, you know, reflecting of that hype of that player. So, hey man, sometimes when I talk about good players, I don't always sound the best when I'm talking about them. But trust me, if I like these people, I like these people. So let's just get into it. The first prospect off the board. Let's just do this first. Let's do Brown versus Kinlaw, which sounds like a court case. Brown versus Kinlaw, and then we'll get into the other D tackles that I watch. Now, Derrick Brown from Auburn. So when I hear the noise, the draftmosphere, you know what I mean? When I hear from the fans or whatever, I'm hearing that Derrick Brown is just this super duper dominant. He's the guy, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Some people ask me, yo, Voch, will he be there for Dallas? I don't know who the hell he is. And then someone else will be like, nah, he ain't gonna make it to Dallas, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. You know, that's just the you know, that was the vibes in the street. I watch a little bit of Derrick Brown. He could make it to Dallas. I don't see why Derrick Brown couldn't make it to Dallas. When I watch Derrick Brown from Auburn, by the way, when I watch Derrick Brown, I see a really good 3-tech. So when I hear the news of, oh, Derrick Brown from Auburn, he can play defensive end, 1-tech, 0-3. Nah, he's played those positions, but he is a 3-tech. He plays in B gap. That is his job. Do I think he could be a 3-4 defensive end? I mean, I think he can be a 3-4 defensive end. I also think he can play free safety, but it depends on what he's going to be good at. You know what I mean? I don't think he's I think he's best when he attacks people. Now, he's really good at coming off the ball, punching people in the chest, extending and finding the football. He's cool at that. He's really cool at that, which lets me know that he can play 3-4 DN. But is that the best thing that he does? No. His best thing is when he lines up in B gap and out talents people. That's what I think he's really good at. I think he's really good at out talenting people. So if he lines up against an offensive lineman and he's more talented than them, ball game. And that helps because Derrick Brown is more talented than a lot of people. Example, when he lined up against the children at LSU, He beat the shit out the LSU kids. And it was bad for him. He was running kids over, picking them up, dropping them on top of Joe Burrow. Joe was running for his life. It was pretty scary. If you go look at the Florida tape, it was a lot similar to that. You know what I mean? And I'm looking, I'm like, man, this dude beating the shit out these kids. Da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Right? But that wasn't the first game I saw. Cause in my mind, when I evaluate film, I want to watch you versus the best talent first, and then I'll go find the rest of it. You know what I mean? So Florida was the third tape I watched, and the LSU game was the second tape that I watched. But the first game that I watched, and I encourage everybody to kind of do your homework on this one. This will be on the test. Let me take a sip of water before I get going. Let me just take a sip of. Boy, that kid from Alabama beat the shit out of Derrick Brown, boy. Boy. Listen. And that was the first film I watched. And I was like, Derrick Brown ain't shit. I promise. That's the first thing I said. I was like, y'all hyping the shit out of Derrick Brown, man. I'm looking in the chat box. Miko Doc said 65 was holding his own. No, 65 was beating the shit out of Derrick Brown. I looked him up. Deontay, whatever his last name is, whatever he, and the right guard of Alabama, 65, he was suspended, I guess, or whatever. He kept missing games, but he played this game and he smoked Derrick Brown all day. There was a handful of plays where Derrick Brown did make a play. It was like at the end of the third quarter, though. It was like 3rd and 1, and they was running the ball, and Derrick Brown did this cold little punch, extend, pull cloth, tackle. You know what I mean? That was a great play. But man, by the time he made that play, 65 been beating the shit out of him for 3 other quarters. And it was bad. And I just had to do my Googles on 65 from Alabama. And what I got from him, I was like, oh, 65 from Alabama. What I've learned from him, 65 from Alabama, your feet ain't the best, but you 330 pounds and you strong as shit. That's what I learned from, pardon me, that's what I learned from 65 from Alabama. Deontay, whatever his last name is. I apologize, kid, but we're not watching film on you. We're watching film on Derrick Brown here. But 65 from Alabama, right? He's heavy and he's strong. So in my mind, what I'm thinking is, man, what happens to Derrick Brown when he runs into people that are as big as him and strong as him? Because Derrick Brown about 6'4", 321 or something. I don't know. The combine will happen, and combine nerds will help us out with that. But what's going to happen when Derrick Brown runs into somebody that's bigger and physically stronger than him? Because normally when he runs into somebody that's big, he uses his quickness. Derrick Brown does have some quickness for a big guy. I will say that for his size, relative to his size, Derrick Brown has some quickness. So when he runs into guys that are big, he uses that quickness to beat them. He couldn't do that versus Alabama kid, not because Alabama kid's feet weren't the best or whatever, but Derrick Brown couldn't use his quickness because once Alabama kid got his hands on him, it was ball game every time. And he wasn't just stalemating Derrick Brown; he was moving him. I paused that shit. Nick Gashlin in the chat box says Derrick Brown also uses strength. Absolutely. Derrick Brown is strong as shit. Because if you watch him versus the LSU, he whooped the LSU kids and the Florida kids. I went to go find like the whole game tapes or whatever. He was whooping the Arkansas children. But I wonder what happens when you run into somebody that's big and strong. And when you get to the league, it's going to be a lot of guys that is big and strong. You know what I mean? Let me read this. Tell me who better than Derrick in the draft. Stop it. That man was mauling Alabama O-line, LSU, and Florida line. Somebody talk to Nathaniel Hall in the chat box, please. Or I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, dog, be an Alabama. I mean, if you're an Auburn fan, be an Auburn fan, bro. And this happens every year. You know what? This happens every year. When I think a football player is really good, but I got my criticisms or or just I would notice something or whatever, they automatically think that I'm saying the player bad. Derrick Brown's not a bad player. Because what Nathaniel Hall totally ignored me when I said was Derrick Brown beat the hell out of LSU and Arkansas and Florida. But when he ran into somebody that was big and stronger than him, he had a problem. And I just think that's something we should just keep our eyes on. What's the rest of my notes? Athletic for his size. He does have quick hands. Somebody asked me about his hands. His hands are quick. He punches the hell out of you, and he does extend to find the football. So he does have power in his upper body. He's a presence in the middle. And then this big dot I picked on LSU. And that's real facts. All that is real facts, man. And quick for a side, sure. And what I got for cons, 65 gave him fits. He does loaf a little bit. Let's talk about it. Derrick Brown does in fact loaf a little bit. The last few years when I do player evaluation, I never really brought up loafs. I would normally praise the high motor guys, but I never really said the opposite side of it. So just to be thorough in my evaluation, I'm going to add that to some of the things that I say about these players. And Derrick Brown got some loafs. I see him jogging a lot. And if you compare that to, people really hate when I get into Cowboy football or whatever. But look at when I watch D-Law, somebody said somebody hit me up on one of these Twitter machines. I don't know, Drummer Cam maybe said it. But when D-Law is versus the run and like he'll get in the backfield and miss or something like that, and the running back is at the first down mark, he'll get up and he'll go haul ass to go tackle somebody at the first down line, right? And that's in my mind, you know what I mean? Like that should be our barometer for what effort and loaf is, right? If you miss a tackle, will you get back up and chase it down? If they're throwing a jailbreak screen, quick screen, will you turn around and chase down whoever's catching the screen or whatever? So in my mind, effort needs to be like a real thing. Salute to you, Drummer Cam. So effort needs to be a thing when we talk about these players. Now, Derrick Brown's effort, is that something that's killing them? No, because I've seen lazier players. I've seen Nick Fairley play football, who's another Auburn tackle. Funny enough, I've seen Nick Fairley play football, right? He loafs his ass off. Is Derrick Brown as bad as that? No. But the epitome of effort football, you go watch Hassan Riddick. Go watch Shaquem Griffin. I want to see that every single play. What's my boy? Let me look at his name because I'm gonna mess it up because I haven't memorized it. My boy that's going back to school from Washington, Levi Owuzaruke. That cat has good effort. That cat makes plays 20 yards downfield. Derrick Brown don't do that all the time, so that is what that is. And my last little note was if he runs into somebody stronger than him, we'll have to evaluate. So when I get even more film, I'm just watching this based on the broadcast film that I was watching on the YouTube or whatever. But when I get the coach's film, from the plug or whatever, I'm gonna watch some of the games that aren't on YouTube, and I'm just gonna continue to evaluate how Derrick Brown does versus certain athletes. Now, the kind of player Derrick Brown is, I don't do player comparisons, and I'm gonna stop telling people where I think people should be drafted, whether I'm right or wrong. It's just a dumb notion to think of or whatever. But when I think about Derrick Brown, I'm not comparing the player, but I'm trying to compare a caliber for you. Like when I think about cold ass defensive tackles, right? I'm thinking about guys like Jonathan Allen. I'm thinking of guys like Leonard Williams, like Quentin Williams, guys that really blow me away. Derrick Brown ain't one of those guys, you know what I mean? So I can't consider him like a top 5 or 6 guy. Jeffrey Simmons, like from last year, I don't consider Derrick Brown to be in that caliber. Derrick Brown is more of a Christian Wilkins player to me, who's a good player. Tristan Wilkins in Clemson was a really good player. Like Deron Payne. Deron Payne's a really good player. I just don't see Derrick Brown like a top 5 guy. If you want to draft him like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a little more sense to me. Ed Oliver, the Ed Oliver conversation is different because Ed Oliver had a lot of hype and he had a lot of athleticism and he got drafted for that athleticism. I think it's proper when I say caliber. I think it's more proper to say like along the lines of Deron Payne and Christian Wilkins. That's not a player comparison. It's more of a caliber comparison. So I'll probably take them around that time, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And, that's not an indication on, he loafs, so he lose like 10 spots. No, I just think that's just where he is as a player, and that's okay. That's okay. Let's move on to the next player, to his direct antagonist. I think that's going to be a thing for the next couple of months here. Somebody in my chat box say, didn't Oliver have a pretty good motor? See, this is the thing. Oliver was fast. Like, Ed Oliver was really fast. He did loaf sometimes, but Ed Oliver was really, really fast. And I think you can be fast and still loaf, Chase Young is fast and he loafs his ass off, but we're going to talk about that when we talk about defensive ends. We'll probably do that next week or so. Let's talk about Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. And I'll go ahead and compare him directly with Derrick Brown in this way. When you look at him size-wise, I think Derrick Brown's like 6'4", 315 or something, but Kinlaw is roughly the same height and weight, but Kinlaw looks taller. Kinlaw looks a little longer. Like they both had their body types are different to say that they're relatively the same height and the same weight. You know what I mean? But when we talk about Derrick Brown, people say, Derrick Brown can play defensive end and defensive tackle. I don't think that's the thing. I think Derrick Brown is a 3-tech. However, when I watch Javon Kinlaw, I think Kinlaw can play 3-tech, and I think he can play defensive end for you. I think he has the body type for it. Plus, he's long. Derrick Brown punches and extends real well, but when Kinlaw punches and extends, he extends the shit out of you. You know what I mean? He extends you way over there, and he creates a little more space. With me learning how, with just me watching Kinlaw punch and extend people, he doesn't know the next move. So the word that pops up in my mind for Kinlaw is that he's very raw. Kinlaw is very, very, very raw. Both players, let's see. Okay, so Derrick Brown has very innate football ability, right? He ain't really got a bunch of pass rush moves neither. He ain't really got this big tool belt full of different moves he can use. But he is an inherent football player. He's naturally a football player. Kinlaw is not a football player. He's just an ass whooper, and he don't know how to play football just yet, but he knows how to beat people. You know what I mean? And maybe with more time, you can kind of a better way to say it, Derrick Brown's a lot more polished. But I do think Kinlaw's ceiling is a little bit higher, right? Because Kinlaw kind of whoops people in the same fashion that he beats people with talent. He doesn't beat people with technique and hands and hand fighting and things like that, nuances of the game. He beats people with technique, long arms, ball get off. Whoo! Hey, listen, Javon Kinlaw, ball get off. It hops off the screen, fam. It hops off the damn screen. It's really fun to look at. He just got to learn what to do once he gets off the damn football. I said Derrick Brown was athletic for his size. I think Javon Kinlaw is just flat out athletic. He's flat out athletic. He just doesn't know how to do it yet. He loafs a little less than Kinlaw, but Kinlaw loafs a little less than Derrick Brown. But when Kinlaw is going, he's going. He's quick. Some plays he'll kind of fall off it a little bit. He's very naturally strong, and I'll say this. And let me just kind of preface this by saying that when Javon Kinlaw was playing against Alabama, 65 wasn't playing. I'm gonna call 65 Debo right now. 65 wasn't even on the field. But Javon Kinlaw did beat the shit out of some of the Alabama kids. Now, if 65 was there, Deontay Debo, whatever his name is, would he have beat Javon Kinlaw? I think so, because Javon Kinlaw got a very similar attack style as Derrick Brown. They both kind of run down the middle of people. Kinlaw just does it a little more athletically. The one thing that I think is really going to get Kinlaw beat on the next level is he's really high. His and it's not really his fault, because I'm gonna talk about a D lineman later. My boy from Utah, the big boy from Utah, he's high because he's standing straight up. You know what I mean? He's high because he's standing straight. Like there is no bend in his knees. Kinlaw is high because he's tall. You know what I mean? He's high because he's tall, and that makes me think that maybe he'll have like a fairer shot at playing defensive end sometimes. You know what I mean? Because he, you can navigate being taller and longer a little better on the outside than inside. If you're inside where things happen a little quicker, them guys get hands on you, that might be ball game for you. That might be, ball game for you. But Kinlaw get real high up in his stance, man. So somebody's gonna have to teach him pad level or whatnot. But once he get there, he will get there. Sleeping on Brown. Brown tape against Alabama was insane. Am I bugging? Chat box, let me ask y'all a question. Okay, chat box, for anybody that has watched Auburn versus Alabama in film form, not I was watching the game casually, but if y'all have watched it formally in film form, am I bugging that 65 was beating the shit out of Derrick Brown? Was I bugging? If y'all have watched the tape formally, I'm asking the chat box. I'm gonna take a sip of water and come back because it may be some Auburn fans in here. I don't know, and I just want to make sure, I just want to make sure that we got the right things here. I just want to make sure. Okay, I ain't bugging. All right, cool. Cool. We need a 3-tech like David Irvin without the weed. Kinlaw got that length like that though. You want to talk about David Irvin? Kinlaw is 315 pounds and he's long as hell. That's kind of similar to what you would get with a David Irvin. Can Kinlaw play 1-tech? I mean, I don't know. I would rather him playing positions where he would use athleticism. But hey man. That's just that, man. I wouldn't put him at 1-tech. He's a 3 and a sometimes 5 for me. We're gonna go to a phone call real fast before we move on to the next guys. Dallas, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Did you watch Derrick Brown versus Alabama?
I have not seen the actual tape.
Okay.
I know he made what Strum from the Dallas News would call splash plays.
Sure.
So I know he made some splash plays that sticks in your mind, but I had not watched the film to see if he was consistent or if got beat on a lot of reps.
Okay. And to be fair, I did give him credit for a handful of those plays he made, but sheesh, for the most part, I think 6'5" beat the hell out of him. But my bad, Dallas. This is about you. My fault, bro.
When a team wins, you remember those big splash plays.
Sure thing.
It's like a player might get destroyed in the run game constantly, but if he makes a game-cinching sack, that's all you remember.
Sure. Understood. But my bad. What you got for the show, brother?
Well, I just wish you unmuted me 30 seconds earlier, because back in the LBT days, I mean, I'm the one when I first... Dane Brugler is the guy who I trust most with The Athletic, who did the Cowboys draft show.
Sure.
He's the guy who I listen to the most, Mm-hmm. So when I saw Kinlaw on my YouTube suggestions, I knew I had to come in because he's been the guy I've been following since Brugler was talking about him at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And I noticed, do you remember those games where David Irving would just kind of take over the games and he could be such a good defensive tackle, but he was also just so damn inconsistent on other games?
Sure.
Kinlaw reminds me of David Irving like that, but without all those games where he just doesn't care. Like, he reminds me of David Irving, focused and ready to go.
Fair. That's fair. And look, that's a very fair criticism because I don't think David Irving really liked football like that. So that's pretty fair. Go ahead.
And, well, personally, Kinlaw and Delta are my two top targets that I think we could get in our area, maybe with a trade-up.
Sure.
Like with Kinlaw, I'm just worried about Atlanta. I would talk to Denver and be like, do you guys want a 5th or maybe even a 4th? And we can just hop Atlanta real quick. You guys come to 17, we go 15. Because Atlanta, I could see taking Kinlaw if Delpit goes off the board earlier. But those are my two top picks I think could be in that mid-draft range. Because Kinlaw is just one of my favorite prospects this year.
Sure. I think what's going to happen with a lot of teams with like mid-round picks like Dallas does, like from, 13, 14, 15, whatever, I think you're going to see a lot of good players fall because obligatory players get taken first, if that makes sense. When I talk about obligatory players, I mean quarterbacks, pass rushers, cornerbacks, pass blockers. You know what I mean? Those guys are going to get taken first. So a lot of these complementary position players who are really talented, they'll get pushed down the board. Like these linebackers, you're going to see some safeties. Like these receivers, you're going to see some really good receivers at 17, simply because everybody's getting pushed down the board because of position priority or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
That's possible. Though I could also see 3 wide receivers getting taken before us. I would not be shocked if Lamb, Judy, and Ruggs are all taken before they get to our pick, which just pushes players down to us because I personally want to go defense in the first round.
Sure. Yep, makes sense to me. What else you got?
Yeah. Well, if you're just talking about, draft prospects and all that, I'm hoping the Cowboys fans, since we're in that middle of the first round, I'm hoping that we can have, like every year, that crazy, surprising QB pick, because I think, obviously, you have Burrow, you have Tua, who I think if he medically checks out will go high, and Herbert, I don't think he's consistent enough as a GM to risk my job, but I think a team's going to take him in the top 15.
Sure.
Now,
if
a team going to fall in love with Jacob Eason's arm strength or Jordan Love's athleticism to take them high. Because to me, they're like second-round picks. But I could see a team just reach on them and say, listen, they got these traits that you just can't be taught. Let's take them and roll the dice on this quarterback.
Boy, that's going to take some cold-ass combining to pull that off. But, hey, appreciate you, Dallas. I got 2 more calls, Doc. Salute.
See you, man.
Yeah. That's a great call, man. Great call. Dane Brugler says he likes Javon Kinlaw. Well, hey, I like him too. Let's see what we're talking about here. Colin, what's happening, man?
What's up, Voch, baby? How you doing, bro?
Everything, bro. What you work for NASA now? What you riding in a rocket ship right now? Where you at?
Nah, man, I'm in the car right now. I'm on on the Bluetooth right now. I'm just by myself though.
I got you, my guy. What you got for the show?
Hey, man, I just want to piggyback what you said, man. Derrick Brown, hey.
Sure.
That dude right, that's a grown man right there, boss.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
That man is like, he's built like a gorilla. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That dude just got that grown man body, NFL ready. But
sure.
I know he gonna be a top 10, top 5 pick. I would take him over Chase Young as of right now. But
oh boy. Boy, let's see this. Boy, let's see this. Let's see this chat box explode real quick. All right, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, Chase Young is good.
Sure.
He's a good player. He really good, but
please.
I don't know. He
know?
disappeared in that game against Clemson. So
he does disappear. I agree. He does.
Yeah,
sure.
That's all I'm saying. But
yeah,
I wouldn't mind getting Derrick Brown, but I already know he's gonna get picked up. But
sure.
I say we don't need another. Just to piggyback what the other caller said, we don't need to get another quarterback.
Who you talking about? What team you are talking about?
Like,
okay.
Like what the college just said, we don't need like another pick up a QB.
You talking about Dallas?
We just need, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I agree.
We don't need one. Need much more Dak could do. What else you want him more to do?
Yeah.
Pretty much he put elite numbers. Yes, I said it. He put up elite numbers.
Sure.
Because that's what elite quarterbacks do. Yeah, I said he's elite. But, no, we don't need another QB. And everybody said we need another safety. You would get a safety in, like, the 3rd, 4th pick. Just to be honest.
Yeah, Colin, I feel you, man. I feel you, but there's a lot of people in the chat box telling you not to drink and drive. You know what I mean? Because that first take was something else, my guy. Go, yeah.
I'm just saying facts, but it's not like team was just throwing TD bombs on the defense like that. Only thing we was just having a problem was, up the middle. That was the only issue. But
Hey,
would I mind getting Ken? Sure. He built like David Irvin, as long as he's not on that stuff. But I wouldn't mind getting him. So that's what we need. We need a big body in the middle just to control the line, so our top star linebackers could do what they do.
I appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for the call, man.
No problem.
Boy, that take was something else, boy. Oh, that take was something else. Hold on, time out. Let me just jump down here real fast. Logan, hang tight. Don't go nowhere. Hold on, wait. Nick Gasher, would you take Derrick Brown over Chase Young?
Not in the second, bro. Not in the second.
He say top five. He's a top five, fam.
Crazy talk.
That's what he say.
That is crazy talk.
It's a little rough, man.
No, I get it. I mean, Derrick Brown, you write about him. He's built. The dude said it right. He was built like a gorilla. But
sure.
At the same time, you write about how he got dogged by number 65 at Alabama.
Sure.
And how is he better than Chase Young? Chase Young doesn't have a motor. But like you said, you catch Derrick Brown loafing at times, and it's kind of the same with Chase Young. He loafs around a lot of the time, but still, there's no way you don't take Chase Young over Derrick Brown. That's crazy talk.
Okay, time out, Nick. That's a fantastic point. I remember. Zach Noel, you absolutely right. Something I did when I watched a lot of these D linemen, I watched Oregon film because I know Oregon got a good offensive line. Derrick Brown wasn't stellar versus Oregon. You right. Now I don't think the Oregon kids beat the shit out of Derrick Brown, but he didn't dominate the Oregon kids like he dominated the Florida and LSU guys. Now 6'5" from Alabama beat the shit out of them, but Oregon just did a pretty good job containing them. So you are right there, Zach Noel. Good take there. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I just like these D linemen a little. The top of the draft of these D linemen like Raekwon Davis, Kinlaw, Brown, Gallimore. I've heard good things about that Utah dude, the Leki Fotu.
Yeah.
Leki Fotu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. We'll figure that out. But no, I like Brown. I think you're right about Brown. Sometimes he can get dogged, but at the same time, he can also dog people. I remember watching that 3-play run against that LSU when he threw the one dude into Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He went and got a tackle for loss the next play, and then he went and almost got a sack the next play while he was getting double teamed and almost triple teamed.
Yeah.
So, but it's just crazy. And obviously LSU doesn't have that good of a line, but it's still an SEC school. You're gonna have a solid line there. But man, what I like most about Derrick Brown is when you one-on-one him, he can beat you. But also when you double team him, a lot of guys double team him. Now it's going to open up those spaces for the linebackers on the next level, and even in college level to go and make those tackles on those running backs.
Sure.
My big thing is he's one of those traditions. He's kind of like Dexter Lawrence in a way. He's one of those traditional defensive tackles that's going to swallow up run defenders. Doesn't do much against the pass.
Sure.
And that might cause him to fall because, as we all know, the NFL is a passing league. And in comparison, you look at a guy like Kinlaw, 6 sacks in 2019. It's just pretty solid for a defensive lineman, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's, like you said, he's got that weird body build that just his length is incredible. Have you seen how long his arms are on that tape?
They long as shit, and that's why I think he can play some end. Now, I don't think Derrick Brown's going to be an end for you, but Kinlaw can definitely line up out there. Yep.
He makes a lot of those plays, and while I do have Brown rated higher than Kinlaw, I really like Kinlaw.
Sure.
Partially because he does have that athleticism and ability to get after the quarterback like that as well as stop the run. I caught him whacking a couple times against Clemson and Trevor Lawrence, but like you said, he loads too. Those are the two big defensive tackles I've watched. I've heard good things again about Fotu, and Raekwon Davis has been that dude who you've been watching film on for a while.
Sure.
Somebody just commented, have anybody checked out Marvin Wilson? He's going back to school, but I think he could be an interesting person next year. He's from Florida State, if you don't know.
I was gonna watch him, but like you said, he's going back. Big old fella. He's a big old boy, but I ain't really watching too much. Yeah.
So yeah, these defensive tackles are interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch these guys play out. Like I said, I really like the top of the draft here, but I don't think it gets much depth. As of now, I haven't finished scouting everybody, obviously, but Kinlaw is a top 10 prospect on my board right now. It's probably going to change because I have other guys that don't have film yet. But that's about it in terms of defensive tackles. I want to talk about Grant Delpit real quick.
We're not talking about safeties today, Nick Gashley. We're talking about defensive tackles. What are you doing?
Okay. I just want to get my opinion out on Delpit because I feel like a lot of people are like knocking him on his tackling. Which I don't really understand.
I'll give you 25 seconds, and I'm moving on to my next caller. Go ahead.
Okay. Delpit, he still makes tackles. I don't see what everybody has a problem with about Delpit. He had trouble against Najee Harris in the Bama game for sure, but he's still a very solid tackler. He goes low, he knocks out the dude's legs, and he puts them on the ground. That's honestly what you want to be looking for in a tackler, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think he has some motor issues, and I think he has some issues diagnosing the play, but Grant Delpit, I feel like he's like something Swaggy D said. He's a playmaker, and obviously safeties fall, but it is what it is. But I still think he's a top 10 prospect.
We'll see what happens, man. I'll be watching my film on him, and we'll talk about it when we talk about safeties, not on the D-line show. Appreciate it, Nick Gash.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I do have some other analysis on some other D tackles in this class. I've looked at Rashard Lewis from LSU, Lakey Fotu. He stands smooth up, but we'll talk about him. Jordan Elliott, Neville Gallimore, and Raekwon Davis. I'm gonna talk about those guys in a minute, but I want to get to these calls, man. I want to know what y'all take on this Brown versus Kinlaw conversation. It's an interesting conversation. Logan, what's up, my guy?
Yo, how we doing, Voch? It's been a minute since I hopped on the phones.
Man, trying to drop these bows like Dusty Rose, you know?
Yeah, just been focusing on school and just got started with the new semester today, but looking to finish out my sophomore year with straight A's again.
There you go. Bust ass, fam. Bust ass, fam. What you got for the show, man? So you got Brown or you got Kinlaw?
So you're my draft guy. Now, I don't have the time to go watch a film. I've never been a big college guy, just me personally. But I wanted to get your take on, this is just more of just Cowboys talk, but what do you think the Cowboys like? Because we could want somebody, but the Cowboys tend to do something really random and just choose somebody we might not even expect. So what do you think the Cowboys what do you think their idea is? Getting a new coach in here. What do you think they want to go with? Do you think they're going to go more defensive in the first round, more offensive? What do you think they're going to do?
Well, see, I don't want to talk Cowboys too long because this ain't the Cowboys show. This is the draft show. So, but I will give you a quick take on that. I think the Cowboys need defense. I just think they had the best offense in the league, and we lost a lot of games because of hidden yards. Because teams would drive on us and they'll score, and we'll get the ball at the 20 every single time. So, I would like to make my defense as top tier as I think my offense is, and I think they should reflect that same notion. So when we get on the board at 16, I want to get the best player I can get at 16. But I think there's going to be a lot of attention paid to defensive line because we're losing 7 defensive linemen in free agency at this point.
Okay. Oh, I was wondering because I know, I don't know. I hope they re-sign Byron Jones. I hope they're smart enough to do it, but I feel like we're going to be losing probably a good amount of defensive backs in the offseason. I think we're probably going to let Anthony Brown go, and maybe even we'll lose some of our. I was wondering if you think they might draft 2 or 3 cornerbacks in the draft just to try to build up that cheap talent and just get some more defensive back depth.
Well, I haven't seen the corners in this draft yet, so I don't have a good answer for you. But when I do watch corners, I will tell you if I think the corners are deep in this class. But as of now, hey, just pay Byron and don't worry about it. If you want to.
Is Anthony Brown our only corner besides Byron that's going to walk, or we're probably not going to resign?
Brown, Byron, and Goodwin are your corners that are leaving. Kayvon Frazier and Jeff Heath are your safeties. And I think Darian Thompson.
Think we should go defensive tackle, though, in the first round because I think that's our main problem. We don't have that guy that can just stop the run up the middle that's like your Aaron Donald, but no one's Aaron Donald. But we do need that guy that can just clog up the middle because if you watch what teams have been doing to the Cowboys is they just run directly up the middle and they'll go for like 6-7 yards of carry on us on a drive, and it's very annoying.
Well, I tell you what, Colin thinks that Derrick Brown is Aaron Donald because he'll take him over Chase Young, so that might be a thing there. Hey, Logan, appreciate you, man. Call into my Cowboy show, fam. You know what I mean?
You too. Lunch.
Appreciate it. He said, "You too." Why would I call into my Cowboy show? It's my show. What do you mean? Uncle Dave, what's up, man? He said, "Voch." What's good, Uncle Dave? Everything. I got some other super chats too, man. Let me address those folk. Hold on. Why is it not popping up in my super chat feed? I know I had some super chats because I saw some colors popping up in there, man, but it's not showing up in my super chat feed. I will scroll all the way up and down that chat box to find my people. Hold on, y'all. Give me 30 seconds. We're gonna get back into these calls in a minute. Here we go. Anime Dolphin, he dropped 5 in the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, "You ain't kidding about that broadcast view. I've already got hit with a claim for the Justin Herbert video, and I haven't even made it public yet." Yeah, man, I don't want to fool around with the YouTube Illuminati on that thing. Don't want to do it. Steven Benzick, what's good with you, dog? How's the baby? Yo, coach, haven't heard from you in a while, so here's some bread. But Oregon O-line did well against Brown too. Absolutely, we did. You and Mr. Noel talked about that, so salute to you. Great point there. I think Noel went up against Shane Lemieux in that Oregon game, and Shane did exactly what he needed to do to stop him. That's Steven Benzick dropping 2 5s in the super chat. I appreciate you, dog, and those are some pretty good points, man. When we're evaluating these players, no matter how good the players are, we should always acknowledge their pros and their cons, and Derrick Brown absolutely has some cons to his game, but you know how it go. Voch will change his channel to... Voch would change his channel to Voch, and I wouldn't notice. What you mean, dog? Voch Lambo. Okay, I got you. Let's see. Now, G from Miami, let's have a conversation before we had this conversation, all right? You know you my guy. But we got some callers today. Now, if it was just you, I'll let you rock. But we got a couple other callers to get to. I know you want to talk about Tua. And I would like to hear your defensive tackle thoughts too, but just don't hold me all day, G from Miami. What you got for the show, brother?
Nah, man, I just had to hop on as soon as I heard the news of Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa declaring for the draft.
Facts.
I felt like now is the time to just hop on. I'm gonna probably like not every draft talk you have, I'm gonna hop on, but like any news pertaining to like mostly the quarterback, because that's really what I'm focusing on. Like I've been keeping up with the running back, defensive tackles in this class and whatnot from my team's perspective. But
sure.
Since we really looking for quarterbacks this year, that's really what I've been putting my focus on. So like I'm gonna just be hopping on every now and then and just putting my 2 cents on this situation and whatnot. And yeah, man, it's great news. Great news that just came out. Tua Tagovailoa is declaring for the draft. I was hyped when I seen it. In the press conference, live streaming, all of that. So yeah, overall great news, great week for Dolphins fans. We got to see Brady throw a pick 6 that in his career. We got to see Tannehill,
he did.
Beat Brady, and we got to see Tua declare for the draft. So I think it's been an overall positive week for the Dolphins fans.
So you think that it's a sure thing that y'all gonna draft Tua? Like y'all ain't got to trade up to go get him, and then y'all just gonna run with Tua?
Here's the thing, like, because like Rich Elson was like, apparently the Dolphins were like enamored with Tua since that game against Georgia. Like they've identified that he was a top guy like for 2 years now. And the thing about it is, I think with Tua declaring, I think he really had a great possibility of going to score. I know like, the 4-letter network, they tend to like hop on these stories for like clickbait, but like according to like multiple reports, he was really thinking about going back for his senior year. And like ironically, Nick Saban and a few of his families were the ones that actually talked them into declaring. And then on top of that, he got positive news when he went out to New York that his hip is going to be all right and all of that. So
Sure.
I think the Dolphins. I think it's no point of trying to be shock value and mock Justin Herbert at 5 with Jordan Love. I think the Dolphins for sure have identified him. He's been the guy for like a couple of years now. Now in terms of trading up, I think that the Dolphins, like this is my bold prediction, but I think the Dolphins are going to trade up to get to, especially if the medical reports come back clean, and like they said, he could come back as early as next year. Because I can't take a risk with the Chargers or the Jaguars. One thing to be on the lookout for is that the Lions head coach, the one that used to be the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, like him and Brian Flores, they have a pretty good relationship. The Lions front office and the Dolphins have a pretty good relationship. So I feel like what's gonna happen, my prediction is that I feel like when we get to like the Lions pick at like maybe 3rd or 4th, the Dolphins are gonna call in because they're gonna say, look, any package that the Chargers could offer you, the Patriots, the Jaguars, they could offer you. Nobody in this draft has more picks than we do, and we could beat any. And plus, on top of that, the Lions are trying to draft that. They, reports are stating that they have their eye on that Ohio State cornerback.
Sure.
So it's like, that for me, that's a win-win for the Lions. You get, perhaps an extra second-round pick, and you get to pick the player that you've been wanting to pick if you just move down like 1 or 2 slots. And I think if the medical reports come out positive, I just feel like with the Dolphins, they a couple years ago they passed up on Drew Brees because they were scared of that injury history. I feel like, Tua's being compared to a left-handed Drew Brees. I feel like they're not gonna pass up on that again. I feel like they've identified him as a top guy, and they're just not gonna take a risk. If you have your guy, you go after your guy. I sincerely believe that Tua's their guy.
Sure.
And I don't think he's gonna make it till 5, especially if the reports come back positive and that he could, he's already walking and whatnot.
Sure.
Like I think we're gonna trade up for him at 3.
What you think about the tackle conversation? Quickly.
Oh, for the defensive tackles?
Like
I said, for me, if this was me last year when I was looking at Christian Wilkins' film and all of that, like I would have been hyped up and whatnot. I do like the South Carolina kid compared to Derrick Brown. I do like the South Carolina kid. I love it when like the D linemen are like physically fit. And you don't really have to worry about them shedding too much, and they still keep like that athleticism.
Are you calling Derrick Brown fat? Are you calling Derrick Brown fat? You see?
No, of course I'm not calling them fat and whatnot. But I'm just saying I like when they have that like length and that athleticism, and then I think if you would ask me, I prefer I'm not gonna make it sound like I'm too knowledgeable on the defensive tackles because, like I said, I've been mostly focusing on wide receiver and quarterback. But
sure.
I would go with the South Carolina kid. I think you can mold them into something right there. And I think, especially for Dallas Cowboys fans, that's definitely someone in that range that they could go ahead and try to target. But one thing though, I think Jerry Jeudy.
Wait, time out. G. Let me say this. Every time you say one more thing, I swear I laugh.
I think Jerry Jeudy falling out of the top 5 is like a crime. I think it's gonna be one of those things where it's damn, it has to happen because the range of the players going, you're gonna have 2 quarterbacks selected top 5 every year.
Sure.
Stuff. But I think, Jerry Jeudy is legit top 5 pick, and he's probably gonna fall within that 8 or 9 range.
Probably. I don't think he will. But who knows? But AOG, we talking about D lineman today, fella. We talking about D lineman. So hey, tune back in Thursday, and we'll have another conversation. Appreciate you.
All right, for sure.
Yeah. Boy, you know what I love about G from Miami, dog? Regardless of that conversation we had before our conversation, G gonna get his points out. G gonna get his point. I even wanted to ask him. I wanted to ask him, what if the Dolphins were on the clock and Tua was on the board, but they took Herbert? I wanted to ask how he felt. But he kind of got off the phone. I don't know. But hey, G from Miami, you are a friend of the show. This is a safe place. I love it every time you call, player. You know you my guy, man. And you one of my privileged callers. So salute to you, my guy. I don't know too much about this draft class, but I'm ready for your film reviews, Voch. Hey, man, salute to you, K. Reeves. When I get the film, I'm going to start tossing these shits out every 2 or 3 days or so. I got a lot of because I really don't like to make points without having like film to back it up. You know what I mean? I can say that, Derrick Brown got beat up by Alabama kid, and somebody in the chat box will be like, nah, that's not true. Boy, it's different when you put it on the film, though. It is different when you show it on the film and you say you got whooped. There's nothing you can say then, so we'll see what happens. Keon, this is your season, sir. We're not talking as much Cowboys now. We're talking draft, so you're coming back home, so to speak. What's up, my guy?
Hey, how's it going, Voch? I'm all right.
Everything's everything, my guy. What you got for the show?
Well, I am somebody that I'm a little bit lost as to what we're going to do as a Buccaneers fan, and I think that we're out of reach when it comes to getting a quarterback. Mm-hmm. We have too many needs. Mm-hmm. So I had the personal thing of I want Grant Delpit to shore up the secondary, but I didn't know. What do you think at pick number 15? I believe that's what we have, 15 or 16. What do you think the Buccaneers should or would go for?
I just pulled up Tankathon. Y'all are 14 and let's see. What should y'all
14.
go for?
Okay.
I think if you can get Jameis to stop throwing the ball to a team, I think you'll be fine on offense. I think you'll be fine. It's a lot of running backs in this class, but I don't think you would take one at 14. You would definitely take one in the next round. And it's plenty guys you can get to come in. I don't think Ronald Jones is a guy that you believe in. You'll give Peyton Barber the ball, and but then again, Ronald Jones will have games we catch the ball all day. I don't know, but I think y'all would likely go running back second round, and that's like one of the holes I would say. If there's a left tackle on the board and you sick of Donovan, then you could possibly go that direction. Or you can go best player on defense, and I think you'll be cool there. So I think it depends on what's on the board, but best defender available, or if there's a really good offensive lineman there, or a good tackle there, take the tackle. In my opinion.
Hear that because the thing is, Donovan Smith, we sent a lot of money his way.
Sure.
It's kind of how he held us hostage with how the league goes. You just keep whatever solid tackle you have. He doesn't miss a whole lot of games. He's not injured. He's terrible, in my honest opinion. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, when I look at what historically this team has been, with or without Jameis, the running game and defense has been among the worst in the league for and this is decades or at least 10 seasons. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, we definitely need one of this or we need one of that. I'm not even sure if trading out of the 14th spot is really a wild and crazy idea. I'm really not sure. I wish I knew more. You know what I'm saying?
Keep your spots, man. Keep your spots. People like to trade away from picks, but sometimes you trade away from the best player on the board sometimes, and I don't advocate doing that. So I'm a real big fan of keeping your picks and just taking your guys.
Well, if that's the case, then I would be looking at Grant Delpit. Do you have anything like? What do you see when you see Grant? Because
I would have to watch the film a little more thoroughly. You know what I mean? But from what I have seen in passing, now everybody please listen before I say this. This is not my last assessment of Grant Delpit. This is just what I saw a few times. I saw a few people run past Grant Delpit. I saw his angles get kind of weird. I've seen Grant Delpit read the quarterback's eyes fantastically and make plays on the football. I've seen Grant Delpit have great size, length, and closing speed. I've seen Grant Delpit be a very willing tackler, but not a great tackler when we get there. We talking about defense tackles today, though, but not a great tackler when he gets there. That's what I saw from Grant Delpit.
I hear that.
But like I said, but wait till I drop the film, and that'll be my lasting impression.
So would you say he's more of a ball hawk than most other things?
That's
what I would like.
He's more of a free safety, sure. A free safety than a box safety, sure.
Right, because the thing is, I don't know how you feel about Jordan Whitehead, but I think he played very, very solid this year. The problem was mainly when we had Andrew Adams, Mike Edwards, and that dude, Vernon Hargrave, stinking it up in the secondary, that he wasn't able to keep things connected and, things like that.
I'll say this about Grant Delpit, and after this, I'm going to hang up and talk about D tackles a little bit. I will say this about Grant Delpit. When I did watch the little bit of film on him, chat box, I might be bugging when I say this. I may not be. I don't know. We'll see. I liked Darnell Savage a little more. Remember last year we was watching film on Little Missile? I think I was thinking like, man, like I wish he would hit people like Darnell Savage, like because Grant is very willing, but I wish he would hit people like Darnell Savage would hit people. And then Darnell Savage was also ball hawky. You know what I mean? You can go watch my Darnell Savage film session if you don't believe that's my assessment of him. You know what I mean? And Darnell Savage, he was taken late first. He was a late first guy. So that would lead me to believe that Grant Delpit would also be like a late first guy as well. That's just, I don't know, give me time to formulate that opinion fully. But Grant's cool. I just don't think that Grant is like he ain't like Malik Hooker or nothing like that. But he's a pretty good player.
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
Mm-hmm. But hey, Keon, appreciate you because we are talking about defensive tackles today. Have you been watching defensive tackles, sir?
Unfortunately, the only one I've been watching is Vita Vea and seeing him tearing people up. But other than that, that's all you need. I'm not really into the college game. That's why I come to you.
Sure. Understood, my guy. I appreciate you, man.
All righty. See you later, man.
Yeah. You was on the money with that, Voch. I remember you doing the safeties last year. Man, I was a big fan of Little Missile, dog. Hurt my heart to see that boy go to Green Bay. Yeah, I agree. Ladybug. I agree. I'll send the text. My bad, y'all. Let me get into the last few quick assessments I have of these defensive tackles, and then I'm going to get back into the phones and let y'all rock. I just wanted to get these handful of thoughts out. These handful of opinions out. Let's see. Let's do Raekwon Davis from Alabama. I like how patient he is, right? He's a very I think he'll be a great 3-4 defensive end guy because he's very patient. He's very solid with those hands. He extends and he reads what's going on. He keeps those eyes up and he reads really, really well. He's a pretty good run stopper. Can he play in an even front? Sure. You put him in a 4-3, he'll be a 3-tech kind of guy, get upfield and stuff. But I think he's really good at punching, reading, and reacting. He's very solid. I don't think he's amazing at one thing. I just think he's a very cool to okay, solid. That's a good word, Swaggy D, polished. Even though Swaggy D's he's a hater for the most part. on my Cowboy stream, Swaggy D's a hater. He's my guy. Salute to him. But that's a good word though, Swag. Polished. Raekwon's very polished. I just don't think he's amazing at any one thing. Could he be like a day two kind of guy? Sure. But he does his job really well. Very polished. I agree there. Rashard Lawrence. He's going to be a 3-tech from LSU. Powerful, man. Powerful. Very strong in the upper body. Pop at the point of attack and he'll drive the shit out you. So he's an upper body power dude, lower body power dude. But he's really one dimensional. You know what I mean? He can is he a pass rusher? Nah, he's not a pass rusher, but he can strength his way into putting pressure on the quarterback. But he's one-dimensional. He's not going to beat you with speed. He's not going to beat you with quickness. He got this slap rip move that he's really good at, but that's about it. But in terms of being a diverse defensive, like a diverse, having diversity, like his moves and things like that. He's not that. He's a one-trick pony in every sense of the word. He's one style. He got one move. He's power, and he got that slap rip move. If he don't get you with that, he ain't gonna get you. But I like him as if you want to do him as a rotational run stopper, cool, do that. I was thinking about something else too. I was thinking about the phrase 2-down player. I want to abolish the term 2-down player because we think of these players when it comes to running the football, passing the ball, right? When we think about these big, heavy nose guards or these unathletic linebackers, kind of sorta, we use the verbiage 2-down player, but I don't think we can use it anymore because teams are passing the ball on first down now. You know what I mean? That's why I always say trash can full of dirt guys aren't gonna last very long. You know what I mean? I don't want them on my team because first down can be pass rushing downs, depend on what you do in certain game plans or whatnot. So I'm all about abolishing the term 2-down player. And Leku Fotu from Utah, I would consider him a 2-down player, but we're abolishing the word. He's a big, strong, raw dude, man. Big Tongan fella with the tattoos on him, and he looked gangsta out there against them Pac-12 kids. But I think he beats up on a lot of Pac-12 kids, man. I think that's his thing. When he was against the USC children, he was really beating these shit out the USC children. But he stands straight up. He ain't have a lot of football to him, so his knees really didn't bend at all. He was just beating people standing straight up. He got away with it. And I was like, man, it just take one of these USC kids to hit him in the chest and he'll stop. But they never hit him in the chest, so he didn't stop. He just kept beating up on him. But another barometer that we use the Oregon offensive line, right? Who's a really good Oregon O-line. The Oregon kids punched the shit out of Leki Fotu. They hit him right in the ribs, they hit him right in the chest, and they made him come down. And they got really good movement on him. And one of the big reasons why I think these trash can full of dirt kind of guys, because Leki Fotu, he's not athletic. He's not gonna run, he's not one of those Vita Vea guys, right? Vita Vea is 340 pounds, but he runs faster than you. You know what I mean? Lecky's not that guy. He's a big 333, whatever he is. I don't know. Combine nerds will help me out with that. He's a big 3 something, but he's not a quick guy. He's not a fast guy. So what Oregon did to deal with him is they ran a lot to the outside. If you're a nose tackle and you don't move that well, then the ball's going outside, and you're not going to be able to catch these running backs getting outside, man. You've made yourself useless, and that's what Oregon did a bunch. When they ran between the tackles, the Oregon kids punched them in the ribs and the chest, and they moved them, and they made him get down, and they ran the ball to the outside, and they kept him from, he wasn't able to catch up with those guys because they ran too quick. So. He's a nose, man. He's a typical 3-4 nose. A lot of people saying, hey, the Cowboys run a 3-4. The Cowboys are going to run a 4-3. It's a hybrid 4-3. I feel like y'all don't watch my videos, man. I feel like Cowboy fans keep saying 3-4, not watching my videos. It's cool, man. It's a 4-3. I'm just seeing it in my chat box there. No, we're not going to a 3-4. But yeah, that's Leki Fotu. He's going to be a traditional 0 in a 3-4 scheme. I don't really see him playing anywhere else, but it is what it is there. We talked about my guy Levi Onwuzurike. He's coming out next year though, so I'll save my football love for him next year. Jordan Elliott. Jordan Elliott's interesting because he's built like a 3-tech, but he's slow like a 1-tech. But he gets the job done. He's a very solid player. And I thought he was a 1-tech because he wasn't moving. He wasn't moving really fast. And I like really fast I like athletic 3-techs. And he wasn't that. He runs in slow motion or whatever. But when you look at his size, he's built like a 3 guy. He just ain't got that athleticism to him. But he's very productive though somehow. He's very very productive. He gets his sacks. He gets, tackles versus the run. He's a very strong dude, angry dude, mauler type guy. He's just not athletic as I would like. What round? I don't know. Let me evaluate the other positions in the game, and I'll tell you about where he'll fall. Neville Gallimore from Oklahoma. I thought he was interesting too. He's a big, powerful nose dude as well. Another 320-pound dude. He's a traditional nose, but he's a lot more violent and he moves a little quicker. I'll definitely give him the nod over Lakey Fotu just because he moves a little better. He got this swim move he loved to do. If you watch his film versus I forgot who the hell the film was. I don't know. It was like Oklahoma State or something. I don't know. I forgot who they was playing. But if you watch the film on him, he did 5 of them swims in a row. He was like, hey, man, I'm going to do it till you stop it. I'm going to do it till you stop it. You know what I mean? He's got some pretty good quickness to be 330 pounds. He's very violent inside with his hands. Powerful dude, hard to move, 330. I like him. And he's going to be a nose for you. He's going to also be a 0 in a 3-4 scheme. Not a one-tech, but a 0 in a 3-4 scheme. Nick says, I think it was Iowa State. That's what it was. Appreciate it, young Nick Gashley. It was Iowa State. He did like 4 swim moves in a row. Just kept doing it. Just kept doing it. If y'all ain't gonna stop it, we're just gonna keep doing it. Get out of here. You know what I mean? And that's all the defensive tackles I got for y'all. And of course, we're gonna do a part 2 defensive tackle video where we dive into some of the other guys that we probably didn't get a chance to watch. Hey, Voch, why is there going to be a part 2 defense tackle video? Well, because every year around this time, the Senior Bowl comes out. And when the Senior Bowl comes on, we find out a lot of players that we didn't know about at first. We get them in this all-star setting, and they start to beating the hell out of people. And next thing you know, we got a couple more D linemen on our board. So that's what I'm going to wait around. I'm going to wait. For the Senior Bowl stuff to come out. All right. Raekwon Williams, what team he play for? I will put him on my list, but I ain't seen him, fam. I ain't seen him. Let's how much time? Where we at on the show? Where we at? How much? What's my time? 1:20. Damn. When did we get here? When do we get to 1 hour 21 minutes? That is crazy. A1, appreciate you for dropping A1 in the super chat, bro. I think that's very creative of you. That's clever, sir. That's clever. So people say we're gonna lock the phone.
The conference has been locked.
And we're gonna take these last 3 calls and then I'm gonna get into the chat box and gallivant with y'all for about 15, 20 minutes. And then we're gonna get up out of here. And we'll do this again on Thursday. Kinlaw is gonna be at Senior Bowl. That's gonna be fun. Steven Benzie, what's good, my brother? It's been a while.
Dude, you changed your number on me. I didn't have a clue what your original number was. It wasn't going through on my phone.
Yeah, the program changed the number up. So that's why I had to put it on the screen. I had to, put it. Yeah, that's why it's up there. Yeah. But I feel
Obviously, I have you on speed dial. It's like, oh wait, what the hell? It's not connecting.
That's why that's why you top tier, sir. Go ahead.
I know. No, but there's actually personally, and this is my personal opinion when we're talking about D tackles, I actually think there's only really like 3, maybe 4 guys that are what I would consider like first round talent.
If that. Yeah.
And exactly, if that. I mean, Raekwon Davis could be a first round talent. Sure. Javon Kinlaw probably will be, but I see him again being a late round SS. Derrick Brown.
Sure.
I don't see him being even top 15.
Damn.
Chat box, don't hate me on that. Sorry, I just don't see it. Tell you the truth, I actually like Marlon Davison better than Derrick Brown, who's his teammate on the D line. But I think Marlon Davison's going to be a second-round pick, probably the earliest. But there are other guys on this list that you didn't mention, like James Lynch out of Baylor.
Sure.
He's a guy that has a high motor, or not high motor. He has a very good motor, but he's also very quick. Like, he's a very quick guy for his size. I think he's like about maybe just a tick under 300. But there are other guys too, like Neville Gallimore, and I don't know if he declared or not yet, but that'd be another guy to look into as well.
Yeah, he's a red shirt senior, so he's coming out this year. Yeah, from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I actually think the D tackle especially has probably the most depth. I don't think you're gonna get like star players. I mean, there probably could be a couple that you'll get star players out of this group, but like most of these guys I see as very, very good starters and role players. Like you can plug a guy in and not even have to worry about it.
Sure. See, early in the show when I was talking about Derrick Brown, see a lot of people they were talking him being like a top 5 guy, and when I think top 5 guys, I think like Jonathan Allen. You know, I don't see Jonathan Allen when I see him. I see more of a Christian Wilkins, more of a Deron Payne kind of guy, and those guys were drafted in the teens.
Exactly, and that's why I said I like Derrick Brown. I think he's going to be a really good player. But like I said earlier, I like Marlon Davidson better because to me, I think he gives you more. How do I want to say this? More fight, more aggressiveness. I guess is a better way to say it. Like he just
let's say violence. Violence.
Yeah, violence is a better word. Mm-hmm. He just seems like he attacks harder.
Sure.
And this is not a knock on Derrick Brown or anything, but to me, Marlon Davidson just attacks with a different edge than Derrick Brown.
Sure.
Maybe it's just me, and that could just be my opinion, but
you know what it is?
And again,
you know what it is? Sometimes when you're less talented, you have to be more intense. Think about Shaquem Griffin. You know what I mean? He lined up knowing every play had to be the fight of his life. And that's what got him and that's what got him drafted. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when you're a good player, you know, you lose some of that fight. That's why we get a lot of loafs from Chase Youngs. We get loafs from Derrick Brown because maybe they're not fighting for their life every single play.
Yeah, and I don't really see that with Marlon Davidson, honestly. Like, you don't really see him take a play off.
Sure.
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's still be times when every player, you know, doesn't give 110% every single play. We're all human. You get a little tired. It happens. But it's not as blatant with Davison, I think, as it is maybe a little bit with some of the other guys.
Sure.
And as far as, like, other guys, I would even say they're in that caliber as far as just the violence, not to this extreme, but would be a guy from Northwestern who, I don't know if you've heard, but Joe Gaziano. He's another guy. He'll probably be like a fourth, maybe third round at best. But he's another guy. He's not superly talented. He's not like, one of the first 2 round guys. But for what he lacks, he gives you an intensity. Like, he barely takes plays off. And he was on a shitty Northwestern team that did nothing this year, and he was still giving it his all every single play as much as he could. So that's what I look when I'm like looking for D tackles, especially, is what position can you play in, not in the traditional sense, because if you actually think about it, throw out 4-3 and 3-4, because essentially if you look at the way that defenses are playing now in the NFL, it's a lot of dime and it's a lot of nickel. So I don't really put too much in when people say, oh, well, we're going to run a 3-4. Oh, we're going to run a 4-3. That has a lot of give because everybody runs 4-3. Everybody runs 3-4. It's just depending on where you put a guy. So I don't really put too much into that. I look, how can you play? Are you violent? Can you attack? Can you pass rush? Or better yet, can you attack the runner, a la running back, or can you hit the thrower, which is the quarterback? Sure. So that's the way I look at it, really.
Sure, totally agree. Like what can you bring? Like, how many skills can you bring to the table? Basically, we were talking about Rashard Lawrence earlier from LSU, a 3-tech. He can do some things. He'll be able to do some things for you. But he won't bring a whole list of things that he can do to the table, and that's how you would draft him. You would just draft accordingly. Yep.
If you would look into like some of these guys with their toolboxes, essentially, let's just use this as an analogy. Every one of these D tackles has a toolbox, right?
Sure.
Some might have only a hammer and screwdriver. Others might have like 15 freaking things because they don't necessarily do one thing really well, but they do so many other things to a level that, you know what, okay, I'm going to take you. Like, that's what I see in a lot of these D tackles. Like I said, I looked at a couple of these guys, and I like a lot of them, but I don't like really – I wouldn't say I like enough most of them to get in the first round. Because like we were saying earlier, 3 at the most is what I think you're going to get out of this group.
Sure.
At the most.
Sure.
Most of them I see as second to third day guys. And that's not a knock. That's just, you got quarterbacks, you got defensive backs, you got all these other things going on. excuse me. So, and really good players will fall. And that's just the way that this goes.
Man, fantastic call. Man, I appreciate you calling my show. It's been a while, man. But we do this every Tuesday and Thursday, so I want you to get back in the groove, man.
Well, I work nights. I was just happened to get off early today.
Understood. How's the baby, man?
I can.
How's the baby?
Oh, she's doing good. I got two now. So I got
Boy,
a
you
2.5-year-old now.
Boy, you busy.
And a freaking 3-month-old. My God, I'm old and I'm only 28.
Boy, you busy. You busy. Oh, you busy. Keep making them, man. Hey, bro, thanks for calling in, man. Call in again.
No problem, man.
Yes, sir. Oh,
See ya.
man. Dope call from Steven Benzick, man. He's one of my privileged people. Hey, yo, listen. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Like, y'all don't leave. Don't go nowhere. Like, chat box, y'all can even count down from 30. Give me 30 seconds. Hold on. Be right back. Hold on. Oh, y'all not funny at all. Y'all not funny at all. Y'all was really counting. Y'all ain't no good. Appreciate y'all hanging in there with me, man. Hey man, it's vegan Voch, man. What you want me to say? What you want me to say? Let's get back to the phones, and then we're gonna spend 20 minutes in the chat box, and we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. Norma Walker. Hello?
Nah, I'm calling for my grandma's phone. My name is Antonio.
Let me see if I can fix his name, dog. Let me just fix the name on this thing. Antonio. All right. What's up, Tony? What you got for the show?
Look at the tape, and on that whole Derrick Brown versus Kinlaw, for me, it comes down to this.
Okay.
See, Derrick Brown more polished. We already acknowledged that.
Sure.
But Kinlaw, man, when you put on the tape,
Sure.
you was talking about that ball get off.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He got the length. He about 6'6", so he was talking about his leverage, but I'm like, he kind of tall.
Yep.
So, and he's strong. Like you said, he raw. But I've heard that Derrick Brown might be going top 10, right? And if I can get Kinlaw outside the top 10,
sure,
then that's the deal breaker for me.
Sure.
Because it comes down to like, well, Brown the more polished prospect, right?
Absolutely.
But Kinlaw got the more potential. So are you willing to bank on that potential? And there's a chance you could get it later, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Kinlaw's ceiling is higher, and it's just my theory that D linemen, they come out the first year and they're not ready to play anyway. Most of them, some of them are, but a lot of D linemen aren't. And I think if you can get Kinlaw and sit him down for a year and really teach him football, because he's raw as hell. He's beating people with just talent, with just size, speed, and talent, and ass whoop. So if you teach him the game, teach him how to bend his knees and get that hat level down a little bit. Yeah, Kinlaw's his ceiling is it can 100% be reached. Sure thing.
Yeah, and then I ain't look up Lakey Fotu. I meant to look him up because since Marvin Wilson dropped out, ain't really many top tier nose tackles.
Sure.
Since Marvin Wilson done dropped out, I like Neville Gallimore too, but he lost about 30 pounds, so he about 301 now.
Oh, so he trying to play 3 tech or something?
Probably. They say he lost 30 pounds in the off season. And the thing about But here's the problem between me looking at Kinlaw and Neville Gallimore is apparent. Now this is what Gallimore's teammates said about him when he was 330. They say he ran a 4.76. He squatted 500 pounds 24 times, and he had an 800-pound bench press. So what I'm worried about is he gonna go to the combine and he might tear it up, and he might be too high for me to feel comfortable about picking him. Because if I can get like a Neville Gallimore in like the third, fourth round, I'm cool with that, right?
Sure.
If I can get like a Javon Kinlaw, like outside the top 10, for me that's good. I'll take Javon Kinlaw outside the top 10. But if you're trying to give me Javon Kinlaw inside the top 10, now we got to say there's some questions.
I feel you, bro.
That's my problem. Some of these prospects might just go to the combine and tear it up, and then all of a sudden they just gonna shoot up the draft board. And I don't know how comfortable I'm gonna feel about taking Kinlaw in the top 10. You can talk about outside the top 10, surefire pick. I get Neville Gallimore third, fourth round. I like that.
You know what? That's a good point that you just brought up, and I haven't really said like talked about it yet. But Kinlaw is gonna have a ridiculous combine. Like he's gonna measure well, and he's gonna run around. He's gonna be athlete. He's gonna be super D tackle raw athlete, and that's gonna bump him up the board a little bit. So, you know, if you want them teams in the mid rounds, don't get too excited because he might make himself some money in this thing. So that's a fantastic point there, Tony. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for calling, man.
You welcome.
Yeah. And man, that's a great point, man. That's a great point. It's just interesting too, man. We think about three techs, man. You know, we're talking about Derrick Brown earlier, and I forgot who said it, but somebody called him a little husky. I forgot who said it. Somebody called him a little husky, but you know, you think about a lot of these three techs in the league, man. These guys are swole. Now, I think Aaron Donald is as far on the other side of it as it gets because he's built like an action figure, and some of these guys do have a little chub to them, but these three techs, for the most part, man, they're getting a lot more and more athletic every year, man. Just more and more and more athletic. So I think that's another thing that we gotta be aware of. Ed from Atlanta, what's up, man?
What's up, Voch? How's it going?
Man, trying to drop these bows like Dusty Rose, you know. What you got for the show, Doc?
Yes, sir, man. Just calling back in. I think what one of the callers said was really true about Derrick Brown being a little more polished, but Kinlaw having the upside.
Sure.
One of the most important things that I like to do, I like to go back and watch previous draft classes. I see a lot of Jaron Reed and Derrick Brown, and I also agree with Stephen Benzik about this being kind of a weaker class. There's not a clear-cut guy that's just so dominant that you want to pick him top 10. Although Derrick Brown is going to be probably forced to be top 10.
Okay, so I don't know if Derrick Brown's going to be forced to be top 10 because I know there are some talented guys at the top of the board at just other positions or whatever, but I don't consider Derrick Brown like a top 10 player. Like, he's a really good player, and I know somebody's gonna take what I say and translate that into Voch thinks Derrick Brown is whack. I ain't saying that, but you know, I just feel a lot more comfortable taking him around 13, 14, 15, and that don't mean he's terrible. That just means 13, 14, 15. But if teams consider him to be the best tackle in the draft, then you know they'll probably take him that high. You know, I just don't think it'll be it'll be the right choice, but I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. It's always fun to go back and watch players. Like the other day, I went back and watched Bradley Chubb, and you see a lot of similarities between him and Chase Young. They're very heavy on outside moves, although I'll admit that Chase Young doesn't have the bull rush he does. But
Sure.
it's weird to go back and look at a guy and just to kind of calm down from the hype of this one draft class. Because somebody's going to have to be a DN1. It just depends on how he stacks up compared to other draft classes.
Yeah, we had that conversation every single year, man. You know, you're going to be the best in your class, but how do you stack up amongst the other best in your class or whatnot? So, you know, something that I've been seeing amongst the draft people or whatever, they're comparing Chase to the Bosa kids. And that's a weird conversation for me, man. That's a weird conversation because the Bosa kids are a lot more technical with their hands and they're good versus the run, and they don't really loaf as bad as Chase Young does. Now Chase is a really good outside rusher, like talented outside speed rusher, and his size is something different, but it ain't the same. With a lot of these Bosa kids, man, it's really interesting what the conversation is gonna be like, but it comes out.
Yeah, I think one thing that's super underrated in the draft is that technique that Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa bring to the table. Technique isn't something. I mean, obviously we always talk about teaching it, but then we go right from wanting to fire our D-line coach to him being brought back, but then ignoring that we just wanted to have him fired as soon as draft season comes around. So I think something that I'm always cautious to kind of develop those kind of players, because if you had a few years in college to develop technique and you didn't do it much, now that you got a paycheck, why should I put more faith in you to develop? You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Hey man, maybe that's why in the contract they got 4 years and a 5th year option. So we'll see. Appreciate it, Ed. Thanks for the call, bro.
Yes, sir. Take it easy.
Call in Thursday. Man, this has been fun, man. Appreciate all my callers, man. I'm gonna sit in the chat box for 20 minutes, see what y'all talking about. Shouts out to Andrew Bailey. He's probably watching the show live right now. He edited his Patreon pledge from $1 to $5, so he's got $5 in the Patreon now, man. Hey, man, appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, dog. All right, chat box. If y'all have any questions, send them now. It's 9:40. We'll do this until 10 o'clock. How about that? That'll put us at the 2-hour mark. I have no idea these shows last as long as they do, man. Like I always think that, okay, we're going to get in, we're going to stay an hour, and we're going to leave. In my mind, these shows just be like an hour, but we about to push 2. So anyway, chat box, what's crackalacking? What y'all got for the show? I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. Translation, I may not have all the answers to your questions, but I will try. Any returners you want to draft? I don't know, but Henry Ruggs may be the fastest guy in the draft. So if you're going to draft a receiver, he'll probably be a return guy for you. Conversation. Voch, have you checked out Justin Madubuike? Yeah. Nope. I have not, sir. Man, Voch, let me know when you do walk on the football field. Walk on the football field to coach? Hey, man, look. Whatever team I'm coaching, man, we're going to whatever bowl represents wherever I'm at. We either going to win state or the national championship. We're going to win the Super Bowl, dog. Whatever team I got winning. Come on, man. I know it's defensive tackle talk. Early impressions of Jordan Love. I haven't watched him. Quarterback, right? Quarterback Jordan Love? Yeah, haven't watched him. I'm gonna have to cut this down to 10 minutes. It's very early in my draft process, but I think part of the allure of this is the humility for me to say that I don't know all the people y'all talking about. But boy, when I figure them out, we're going to have these long conversations about it. Are you going to do a top 10 at each position? Yes. Are you going to watch Ross Blaylock from TCU to 3 Tech? Yes. I'm going to watch all these people. I'm going to watch all these folks, man. I'm just going to I just watch them at my own pace, man. I just don't be in a rush. I'm never in a rush. But I do watch at my own pace. How important is effort to you as a scout? It means the world to me. I just like people that just got it. That just high effort means a lot to me, man. That just says a lot about your football character. You know, if you'll jog on me on this play, you'll jog on me on, any play. And if I need to count on you for one play, I hope you don't jog on that play. I just hope you don't jog there. You know what I mean? I just like to have security. I like to know what I'm getting into, man. And if I don't know when you're going to jog, that is, boy. You don't walk on any field no matter what sport. That's true, Rue. That's true. Take the field. Take the field like you taking the field. Absolutely agree. What you think about Isaiah Simmons? Too early, but I know he's big as hell, and he stood next to J.K. Dobbins, and he made J.K. Dobbins look even shorter than what he is. So, Voch, do you think we have to trade up to get Derrick Brown? If we were to get Derrick Brown, like sure, we would probably have to trade up. I don't think Derrick Brown makes it to 17, but I don't want to trade up. I'm just trying to keep all my picks. You know what I mean? Some people don't like 5th round picks, but you can turn a 5th round pick into Robert Quinn if you use it correctly. So yeah, I'm not trying to trade up. I ain't never really been a big fan of giving up my picks. You know what I mean? My coach says nonstop, you don't walk on the football field and you don't piss on the grave. Facts. How do you feel about Jonathan Taylor? Well, he fumbles the ball a bunch, according to my man's, who called in here? Was it Nick Gasher that called in? Somebody called in here and gave me that stat, gave me that number. They were talking about Jonathan Taylor and his ball security issues. Yeah, he's a good runner, but he dribbled that thing. He played basketball with it, like Brother Law Nation would say. What position are you drafting in the first round? If you're talking about Cowboys, I want to go defense, man. I really want to go defense. I'm trying to bolster that thing up. I want my defense to be as elite as the offense is. So that's my thoughts there. Opinion on Jedrick Willis. Offensive lineman, right? Nick Gashler. I'm watching O-line after I watch edge players. So I've watched my first set of defensive tackles I'm gonna watch, and then I'm going to watch a set of pass rushers, defensive ends, and we gonna do some O-line after that, bro. We gonna absolutely do some O-line after that. So stay tuned. Do we have any compensatory picks this year? I think we'll get a 5th round compensatory pick for Cole Beasley. He's in the 3rd percentile in terms of how much he got paid when he left Dallas. So he'll probably be probably like a 5th round pick. So like pick like 180 or something. Are we trading for Jamal Adams? I want to keep all my picks. Keeping on my picks. Hey, I'm in high school playing football. I brought protein powder. Do you think it's worth it? O-line and D-line varsity. Hey, man, lift some weights. And be sure you do your homework every night and don't flunk out. The worst thing you could do for your football career is flunk out, so make sure your grades is good. Protein powder never helped me. I don't know. But, hey, you want to know a good way to grow and get strong on accident? Go outside and chop some logs. I know I'm from Mississippi, and that may be a very Mississippi thing to say, but trust me, fam, it works. Go outside and chop some logs. Is Raekwon Davis worth, is he first round worthy? I mean, maybe. Like late first round. Like 32 or something. But I'm taking him in a second. I'm not taking Raekwon Davis early. And there's no knock to Raekwon Davis. I just think his talent would just indicate that he wouldn't just be a day one guy, And if he's a day one guy, it'd be like a late day one guy. Any pet cats? I thought I had a pet cat today, but his ass going back to school. My man's from Washington with the long name. Let me click on it again so I can say it again. Levi Onwuzuruke. Levi Onwuzuruke. Let me type it in the chat box so I can look at it. Levi Onwuzuruke. Damn, I spelled it wrong. Oh, I did. There we go. Levi Onwuzuruke. He would have been one of my pet cat sons off the rip. But he going back to school, so he going back to school. Did you hear about a special teams coach? He's going to be an upgrade. Hopefully our special teams got better. I heard about it, but I don't really keep up with special teams. I'm an offense defense guy, and I really don't like defense. I'm really an offense guy. But hey, if Cowboys get better on special teams, they get better on special teams. Is Matt Rule ready for the big leagues? I had no idea. Best run stopper you've seen so far? Interesting. Allow me to watch with a little more context. To be safe, I'll say Derrick Brown, because Derrick Brown be beating the shit out of these kids. I don't want y'all to think I think Derrick Brown's terrible. Derrick Brown really be beating the hell out of people, but he ain't beat my boy from Alabama though. He beat my boy from Alabama. But hey, everybody, but Florida and Arkansas and Florida, Arkansas, and LSU, yeah, he was beating the hell out of them kids. Yeah, John Foster. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. I've heard the name before. I've heard the name. I just you know. What you think about Chris Rashard? He can go because he don't want our DBs looking for the football. It's crazy, man. When Ryan Marinelli was the DC, this defense was okay. He gave over the play call, and the Chris Rashard, the defense started giving up all the yards and points. So I don't know. Check out Ashton Davis from California when you go over DBs. Sure. I plan on knowing 7 rounds worth of guys whenever I get to that point. So sure thing. We'll see. We'll cross that road when we get there. That's it. We good? Let's see. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more if you got it in you. If not, we're gonna wrap this thing up. How many of y'all watched Jeopardy, man? Just 2 hours ago. Did y'all see Jeopardy, boy? Boy, them boys was hooping, wasn't they? Can't wait for you to say the tackle from Auburn's name. Let me look up the tackle from Auburn's name. Let's see. He's an offensive lineman from Auburn. Let's see. Auburn offensive line. Let's even do NFL draft. Let's type it in and see what it say. Wait a minute. What's this boy name? You talking about the Prince guy, right? Damn. Wanogo. Prince Tego Wanogo? Wanogo. Prince Tego Wanogo. Yeah. Yeah, Prince Tego Wanogo. Yeah, that's interesting. Sound like I can't say it online. Never mind. I can't say it on the internet. I'll say it later. He's my 4th ranked tackle at this point. I watch O-line. Y'all know when I like when I really watch O-line, like I watch O-line, man. I watch pretty I watch O-line with extreme prejudice with extreme prejudice. So one more question and I'm gone, y'all. One more and I'm gone. This has been a pretty fun show. I just want to show love to my chat box because some of y'all ain't got no minutes to call in. Some of y'all's Obama phones done went out. You know what I mean? So shit. Who you looking forward to watching at the Senior Bowl? I'll say Justin Herbert if he goes, and Jalen Hurts. I want to see the quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl. Who got the best hand so far? And I'm leaving on that. Who got the best hand so far? These defensive tackles haven't had incredibly good hands. I'm lying. I'll tell you what. Raekwon Davis. Raekwon Davis got the best hands so far. I like his hands. He works his hands really well, but he got to because everybody else is winning with talent, but he's got to win with his hands because I don't think he's as physically talented as the other 2 guys. So yeah, Raekwon has the best hands. I'll take that and stand by that. Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And all that. We do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I really didn't mean for this thing to be 2 hours. I wanted it to be like an hour 30 minutes. But y'all know how that go, man. But I appreciate y'all for hanging in there and sticking with me, though, man. What was this? It was like 200 or something people watching. I think we had like a peak 230, 300 or something like that. So I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Shouts out to my super chats, man. Uncle Dave came through for a little bit. A1 Steven Benzik and Anime Dolphin. Also shouts out to Andrew Bailey. He added some more to his Patreon pledge. So salute to you, my guy. And shouts out to all my callers, man. This stream was dope. It was dope to get in here and talk with y'all. The people that called on the phone, the chat box people or whatnot. Even my mans that thought that Derrick Brown was gonna get drafted number 2 over Chase Young. Even Colin and all that. But we do these on Tuesday and Thursday, man. We do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, if you're looking for Cowboy specific draft talk, that'll be Dallas Cowboys salute. That'll be a whole another thumbnail. But when you see this thumbnail, when you see Lombardi's draft talk, we'll be talking draft for 32 teams. So that's going to be on Tuesday and Thursday, every day, Tuesday and Thursday, until about a couple weeks after the draft. And we probably going to stop like in June or something. So from now to June, every Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to do this thing. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow me on all my social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, VOCHLOMBARDI, and all that good stuff. And hey, man, watch my ads and, you know, support them people. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and Peasky Whiskey. Till next time. Salute. My cable bill was way too high. I reached out to affordablesticks.com. They sent me a Fire Stick. Plug that thing into the HDMI. Now I get unlimited shows, movies, and live TV. I'm a huge sports fan, so I love League Pass, Sunday Ticket, and I get the pay-per-view fights for free. There's something for the whole family. You can buy a Fire Stick for every TV in the house and still spend less money than you would on cable. That's affordablesticks.com. There's a link in my description. You should go click it. Cut the cord, man. The YouTube Illuminati is taking money away from your favorite content creators, and people often ask the best way to support the channel directly. I tell them that's subscribing to my Patreon. Just $1 a month would increase production and the frequency of uploads. Basically, that means more content for you. For less than a bag of almond M&Ms, you can support the channel, call dibs on requests for future videos, and you can have access to Patreon exclusive material like my throwback film sessions. That's patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. I appreciate the support. Doski Woski. Salute. After canceling my cable, I saved $2,400 this year by switching to Beast TV through channelsforcheap.com. Some people pay $200+ a month. I paid $120 a year, or you can go $15 a month if that's what's convenient for you. You get 2,500 HD channels. 1,000 of those are in English, and there are plenty of other international channels, TV Guide, and we get all the sports. One of my favorite things is multi-screen feature. So if I don't know what I want to watch, I can tune into 4 different channels at one time that you can watch on 4 different devices, and it's available on Fire Stick, smart TVs, tablets, and if you're on the go, you can watch TV on your phone. Hit the link in my description or go to channelsforcheap.com where you can get a free 7-day trial. That's a whole week for you to just sit down and play with it and see what you like about it, then come back and make a purchase. If you have any questions, go to channelsforcheap.com, hit this little button right here, and they'll respond to you immediately. That is channels4cheap.com. The link is in the description. I highly recommend it. Let's do it.